Hello there, and welcome to Blockchain Fundamentals with Virtual Nexus and Crypto Diaries. Today we're going to talk about Layer 2 blockchains. As always, cryptocurrencies and blockchain investments are extremely speculative and risky. They fall outside of much of current regulatory frameworks and as such are risky for novice, experienced, and inexperienced investors alike. Because of its novel nature, the cryptocurrency market is fraught with many difficult to evaluate assets, including fraud, scams, and schemes. Do not risk anything you cannot stand to lose. Furthermore, intensive due diligence surrounding complex technical, financial, and regulatory issues is required in this market. This presentation and all associated with Crypto Diaries and Virtual Nexus are for educational purposes only. We never recommend the purchase, sale, nor trading of any specific asset or issue. However, we do offer information to enable our audience to learn how to manage their own risk and potentially capitalize on mispricing in the cryptocurrency and blockchain market. Alrighty. Blockchain fundamentals, layer 2, blockchains. So we're going to talk about Lightning and Bitcoin. We're going to talk about Ethereum layer 2, optimistic rollups, zero knowledge rollups, and give you some examples. Okay, this graphic is from a paper, which I have the link here, and it shows how zero knowledge proofs batch transactions. Okay, what essentially a layer 2 is. Layer 1 is the main chain. Okay, that's like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. There's a lot of layer 1s out there, but the main ones that really matter are basically Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, I mean, other people may disagree with that, but we're not going to get into that battle right now, that flame war. So what it essentially is the main chain has the most expensive transactions and the slowest speed. So they create layer 2s to decrease transaction costs and to increase speed. That's the main reason. So the Lightning Network. So the way the Lightning Network works is you create a transaction on the main chain, adding Bitcoin to a payment channel. Okay, you share the Bitcoin channel with a peer. To route to unconnected peers, you must traverse other disconnected people. So for example, if I know Bob and Bob knows Alice, I can transact with Alice. If I know Bob, Bob knows Alice, and Alice knows James, I can transact with James. But there's sometimes a problem where a path is not easy to find. It's often difficult to find enough peers, okay? Large payments are best to do on the main chain because it costs a lot of money. Each of these individual payment channels may charge a fee to traverse them. All right, centralized payment hubs solve this issue. However, the Lightning node must remain online and be monitored, or the other end of the channel can exit with funds. Watchtowers mitigate this risk. Yet again, this is the centralization Bitcoin is designed to avoid. So while the Lightning Network has been praised as this great addition to Bitcoin, which it is, okay, it does not meet the needs or meet Bitcoin's wonderful and beautiful decentralization and security goals. All right, so let's talk about layer 2. So remember, you'll see here, okay, we have basically blockchain down at Bitcoin's main chain. Okay, it opens a channel, right, on the main chain, and then when it settles, when it closes the channel. So it just tells the main chain that it's opening a channel with somebody else, and all those individual small transactions, they're not settled on the main chain. What does that mean in plain English? What that means in plain English is that, let's say Mike wants to go get coffee. So Mike goes to the coffee shop, he sets up a payment channel with the coffee shop, right? So he's going to add, like, we'll say like 100th of a Bitcoin right now. So that's like 28,000 divided by 100. So it's 2,800, 280 bucks. Okay, that's a lot of coffee, right? Because you figure $2.80 a coffee, 280 bucks, right? Was that 100 of those? Yeah, about 100 coffees. And that's an expensive coffee, but whatever. This guy's using Bitcoin, right? He can afford it. So why do I mention this? The payment channel is between the coffee shop and Mike. On the main chain, it's not really settled. When it closes the channel, that settlement is closed to the main channel. But remember, if one of them closes the channel while the other one's not around, they can send a fake transaction and basically settle it with the initial amount that was spent. So that's a risk, and a major risk. And the only way around this is centralization. And so it's custodial, meaning that you have to put money in the payment channel, and there's centralization risk, which again breaks Bitcoin's ethos. All right. So Ethereum Layer 2 has a far richer ecosystem, although we will compare the two on the second and third to last slides. So essentially what happens here in Ethereum is what we have is you got Layer 1 blocks, And then there's either a snark or a stark, which are zero knowledge proofs. What does that mean? So we talked about Plasma, which uses payment channels, or MESA Go, and people don't really use that much, although it was very big in Southeast Asia. I know a kid who helped build that network, brilliant guy. His name's Kelvin, and he actually is incredible in cybersecurity as well. Brilliant kid. We had some of the greatest discussions, one of the best discussions of my life. I remember because we decided that when scarcity is conquered, the attention economy is what matters. And we foresaw this at DevCon 3 in 2017. This is the Insta shame YouTube, Facebook economy where people are doing things for clicks. So even very rich people are out there trying to get attention because that's like the final commodity that people want. It's very interesting. And there's some discussions around that from a philosophical standpoint that may be useful in the future. Regardless, the point is we're not going to focus much on payment channels on Ethereum Layer 2 because we're going to talk about ZK rollups, optimistic rollups, which are like, say, Arbitrum and original Polygon and what's else? And Optimism. So what they do is they actually settle. So on the main chain, they will basically take the funds to the secondary rollup. They'll take it to the secondary chain. Okay, that's down here, right? The secondary chain will perform all kinds of other transactions, dirt cheap, and a lot less expensively. Okay, that's the main thing. And so then what happens is it batches those onto layer 1, right? You'll see down here, it contains the proof is sent to layer 1 block. Okay, now the validity proofs are included in the layer 1 block. Now there's a couple things, but the optimistic ones, they don't prove it, but there are actually watchers which will determine, and validators will challenge it if it's not an accurate proof that's submitted. Now, zero knowledge rollups, actually, it's proven in the entire transaction. So that's the important thing on the main chain, right? All right, so this makes it faster and cheaper, right? Which I have demonstrated in another video. I haven't really shown it yet, but I will be doing demos of basically how to use a browser wallet and a hardware wallet, and then how to essentially do transactions and bridge funds from the main chain to the layer 2 chain, and what the advantages and disadvantages of this architecture are. So there's the link down there from Masari, which is a great website. There's a free, a pro, and I think there's an enterprise membership. Ryan Selkis, I highly recommend it. An incredible team, great visionary and management. And if you're involved in crypto, I highly recommend it. All right, the next thing. So Ethereum Layer 2 examples, we got Polygon or Matic. We got Matter Labs, Arbitrum, and Optimism. This is the ETH Layer 2 ecosystem. Many companies here, you'll see. And you can get that from LinkedIn down here. You can go to LinkedIn explaining the Ethereum Layer 2 ecosystem. And now we'll go to the Bitcoin Layer 2 ecosystem, and this is from last year. It's significantly smaller, okay, for obvious reasons. But if it's not obvious, it's because the development and the Precambrian explosion is going to happen on Ethereum. Because the very simplest way I can explain this to you, I started on Bitcoin. Think of Udi Wertheimer, if you follow on Twitter, you're part of crypto Twitter. I started, my first node was 2012, right? But I couldn't buy anything with Bitcoin and couldn't do anything, so I shut it down. Yeah, right, I should be a multimillionaire. Oh, well, I got plenty of friends who were, and I got friends who lost a lot of money in Mt. Gox. Oh, well, that's life. I generally don't do things only for the money. I do things because they edify me and educate me and allow me to add value to the world, and then money will come my way. If money doesn't come my way, it's because I suck and I'm not adding value. All right. Now, would I like to have that more money now? I don't know. It keeps me focused and it makes me more disciplined because it gives me something to do. I like to work. Alrighty, so Bitcoin Layer 2 ecosystem, we mentioned Strike and Lightning Labs. Again, these are Lightning Labs helped deploy the Lightning Network and has had funding. I don't know how many rounds of funding they have. And then Strike is, of course, Jack Mallers' basically company. And those both have huge hubs of payment channels, which leads to centralization. But boy, does it make it faster and cheaper. But isn't the current banking system fast and cheap with thousands of transactions per second on Visa? Okay. So we'll talk about that some other time. All right, in summary. So we talked about layer 1, that's the main net or the main chain. That's essentially the highest security, the highest value, and the slowest transaction speed. Okay, we talked about layer 2, that's non-main net. That includes basically, for example, Optimism, Polygon, Arbitrum. Okay, and the ZK EVMs, which Polygon is rolling out, and Matter Labs, and it has as well. Matter Labs rolled it out first. Okay, once the ZK rollups are fast and the proof is solid, that's when layer 3 will come, and that's the Cambrian explosion we're looking for. So they talk a little bit layer 2 on this slide from 101 blockchains. And they talk about an application layer over layer 1 and layer 2 blockchains. It's interoperability among different blockchain protocols. You can think of them as bridges. Bridges isn't really the exact term, but a bridge translates protocols. It's an old routing and networking term, right? You got a bridge and a router. I'm not going to get into those. It's a network bridge. There's a network router, and there's a router, which is a bridge, and a router. So the difference is a router is within the same protocol, and a bridge is between separate protocols. And these layer terms come from the OSI network, Open Systems Interconnect model of network communications. It's the OSI layer 7-layer model. If you're interested, I can't imagine you would be. So these last kind of tongue-in-cheeky data points I'm going to put in here. The Lightning Network, or Bitcoin L2, is 153 million. ETH layer 2 is 9 billion. I think that's 1.7. The network is 1.7 the amount. So we do 153 divided by 9,000. Yeah, it's 1.7% of the value of ETH layer 2 is Bitcoin layer 2. So Lightning, look at that. So you're looking at roughly, so we'll do, what is 100 divided by 1.7? So it's 100 divided by 1.7. So there's 58.8 times the value locked in the ETH layer 2. That's just ETH layer 2. And here's an even funnier one. So wrapped BTC, there's 4.26 billion of wrapped BTC on Ethereum. There's more Bitcoin wrapped in Ethereum, or more Bitcoin, wrapped on Ethereum than there is on Bitcoin layer 2. So let's do that one. 153 divided by, 42600. And so there is, one less zero, 4260. And that is 3.5%. So there's 3.5%. And so that would be 100 divided by 3.5 divided by 3.5. And that is essentially 28.5 times as much value in wrapped BTC. Yes, that's funny. Yes, it's tongue in cheek. All right. I love you all. God bless you all. And I just want to summarize. Layer 1, mainnet, slowest, most expensive security. Okay, the most stable. Layer 2 inherits the security of layer 1, faster and cheaper. Okay, and then layer 3 will be protocols further built on top of that, or bridges between the multiple protocols. All right, God bless you all.